So what draws you to folk music? What, you know?
Well, folk music is sort of an outcome of the old-time music, because interspersed with the old-time music we were doing things like green sleeves and English folk songs. And we started listening to recordings, 78s in those days, and a lot of the people who we liked were on the folk, were on records, 78 records. So what we did was listen to them and then tried to learn the songs from them. And so eventually we got to have quite a few. And then I went away to college and then into the Army for 2 years, and I picked up a mandolin and started playing with the mandolin, learning the mandolin, and that was a good accompaniment for folk songs as well as the guitar. And in the Army I was in, I ended up in Japan as part of the Army of Occupation, and we had a regimental choir, and the regimental choir became a glee club, and the colonel in charge sent us off with a musical comedy that was dreamed up by somebody in our outfit, and we were the chorus and quartets and so on, and we toured Japan with this soldier show. It's called a sad sack, you know, the soldier who always makes a lot of mistakes. But there was singing in it, so our little group traveled all over Japan. Mama sent me to the spring, told me not to stay. I fell in love with a pretty little girl, and I stayed there all day. Chawing, chewing gum, chewing, chawing gum, chawing, chewing gum, chewing, chawing gum. First she gave me peaches, gave me pears, then she gave me 50 cents and kissed me on the stairs. I was still working on the folk songs every time I could get. And then when I came back, I went back to Yale. I had 1 year, and then I finished Yale and played the mandolin and folk songs a lot. Got in the Yale Glee Club under Marshall Bartholomew, who was noted choral director of the time. And we sang a lot of folk songs under his direction, sea shanties and things like that. And then I still kept working on the folk music, and eventually when I went to Columbia to get my library degree in New York City, I met up with a lot of people who really liked folk music, people from Greenwich Village and other places and in the college, and we formed a folk music group and started singing. Well, this was in the 50s, and eventually I became director of the Long Island, the Huntington, Long Island Public Library. And that was a chance for me to also use my knowledge of folk music, because we had children's programs, and I had many folk songs that I could, This Old Man and the Fox Went Out on Chilly Night, and those kinds of things that I used whenever we had the class visits into the library. I would tell them about the library and sing them a couple of these folk songs. Here's to our Lake Champlain monster, the king of the deep and the jam. We'll sing one more chorus to our dinosaurs, that lovable creature named Champ. The first one to write about Champy was that traveler, Samuel Champlain. Since he wrote out that line back in 1609, lots of people have seen him. All my family were singers. My mother and father, they were in all the choruses and the choirs and the churches, choirs and everything. My mother was a soloist in churches and all around. My father played the violin, and he was in choruses. And so it was natural that the five children of us also got into music. And I was reported to be singing along with a recording of Ah, Sweet Mystery of Life when I was 1 year old in my bassinet. I went out late one night, moon and stars were shining bright. Storm come up and the trees come down. I tell you folks, I was waterbound. Waterbound on a stranger shore, river rising up to my door, carrying my home to the field below. By the time I was in 5th grade, I graduated to a Stella guitar I got from Sears Roebuck. And having played the ukulele, I knew that the 4 upper notes of the guitar were the same as the ukulele. So I didn't bother playing the bass parts because I didn't know how. But anyway, Lindy Emmerich, a classmate, and I formed the Heartland Harmony Boys. And we wore, it was all sort of country western then, and rural Connecticut was very country type place. A rural community of Heartland had only 100 people in it, in the whole township. But anyway, the Lindy and I formed this Heartland Harmony Boys, and we did cowboy type songs, gospel songs, and old-timey songs. My favorite has always been the old-time songs, and so we did things like the little shirt that Mother made for me, a Bradley Kincaid, Kentucky singer, back in the 30s, and a lot of different songs, all the cowboy songs, When the Work's All Done This Fall, and so on. We really enjoyed that, and we harmonized, which is why we were called the Harmony Boys. We did duets all the time, and we had bandanas around our neck and sort of fake cowboy clothes looking, and jeans and so on.
Nice.
And we played around on schools and everybody who wanted us, Granges and other places. During World War II, we played for teachers conferences. And when we played for teachers conferences, we never got paid, by the way. We always got food or something like that. They said, what would you like to have for your payment? And we eyed the table and we said, sugar cubes, because they were rationed then and you couldn't get sugar. And so we each got a couple of sugar cubes. That was payment enough. On Altona's rocky plain, I get up before the dawn, eat my coffee up again, and by sun I'll be gone. I go out each summer day, have to start before it's warm, walking slowly down the way, with my pail upon my arm, picking berries, it's the only thing I like to do, picking berries, all the summer season through. Walking to the berry fields, down the green and narrow trail, here and there a rocky ledge coaxes music from my pail. Up ahead a berry bush filled with berries ripe and blue, so I set to work and picked berries wet with morning dew.